August 24, 2001, Air Transat Flight 236, a modern Airbus A330, is cruising over the dark, vast expanse of the Atlantic Ocean. 293 passengers on board are sleeping soundly, completely unaware of the impending disaster. The flight from Toronto to Lisbon proceeds normally until a subtle warning appears on the cockpit displays: high oil pressure and low oil temperature in the right engine. The crew suspects a simple computer sensor fault. Captain Robert Piché and First Officer Dirk de Jager monitor the strange readings. The Airbus A330 is an advanced marvel of engineering. Sensor glitches aren't uncommon. They contact maintenance, unaware that a catastrophic failure is silently unfolding. Deep within the right engine, a fractured fuel line is hemorrhaging aviation fuel at a massive rate. The cold, dark Atlantic air sweeps the highly flammable liquid away into the night sky, completely hidden from the cockpit. Santa Maria Oceanic, Air Transat 236, we are investigating an oil pressure issue. The crew maintains their composure, but suddenly, a new, far more terrifying warning illuminates the master display: fuel imbalance. The right tank is emptying. Thinking the fuel imbalance is just another computer error, the crew follows standard procedure for a perceived imbalance. They open the crossfeed valve. This single, fateful decision begins draining fuel from the intact left tank as well. The crossfeed valve acts as a bridge. Valuable fuel from the healthy left wing rushes over to the right, only to pour out of the severed pipe. The massive aircraft is bleeding its lifeblood over the ocean. Realizing the fuel gauges are dropping far too rapidly, panic begins to set in. Air Transat 236, we have a major fuel problem, requesting diversion to Lajes. The isolated Lajes Air Base in the Azores is chosen. The pilots desperately calculate their distance to the Azores. They are over 150 miles away. At 0613 UTC, the terrifying reality strikes. The right engine, starved of its precious aviation fuel, violently sputters and flames out completely. Mayday, 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 Air Transat 2036, we have lost our right engine. The cockpit is plunged into a state of high alert. As thrust becomes asymmetric, the heavy airliner requires immediate manual input to keep it flying straight. The pilots desperately command the aircraft to descend, trying to maintain speed on a single engine. 13 minutes later, the nightmare deepens. The left engine, drained through the open crossfeed valve, consumes its final drops of fuel. At 39,000 feet, the left engine goes completely dead. The deafening roar of the massive turbofans is instantly replaced by an eerie, terrifying silence. Mayday, mayday, mayday! Air Transat 236, we have lost both engines! Total loss! The massive Airbus A330, weighing over 150 tons, is now a giant, unpowered glider plummeting toward the freezing Atlantic. The cabin goes completely dark. Emergency lighting flickers on as the ram air turbine deploys from the fuselage. The ram air turbine provides just enough essential electrical and hydraulic power to keep the basic flight instruments and control surfaces alive, but without engine thrust, they are losing altitude at an alarming rate of 2,000 feet per minute. Santa Maria, Air Transat 236, we are ditching in the ocean. The controllers stare at their radar screens in absolute horror. The concept of successfully ditching a wide-body airliner in the open sea at night is practically impossible. Inside the cabin, flight attendants scream brace commands. Heads down! Stay down! Passengers grip their seats in pure terror, listening to the rushing wind. Some write heartbreaking final letters to their families, expecting to hit the water. Captain Piché, an experienced glider pilot from his youth, calculates their glide ratio. With incredible focus, he realizes they might just reach the Azores. He pitches the nose to maintain the optimal glide speed, maximizing their distance. Air Transat 2036, radar contact lost. The air traffic control room falls into a heavy, agonizing silence. They can do nothing but wait and pray as the aircraft drops below radar coverage, continuing its silent, terrifying descent. The sun slowly begins to rise, casting a pale dawn light over the endless ocean. Suddenly, through the thick, scattered morning clouds, the rugged volcanic peaks of Terceira Island appear on the horizon. The runway is visible. However, they are coming in too high and far too fast. Without engines, there are no thrust reversers, and they cannot simply go around for another attempt. Captain Piché must execute a series of aggressive 360-degree turns. Banking the massive airliner steeply, Piché bleeds off excess altitude and speed. The runway at Lajes Air Base grows larger in the windshield. They cross the threshold at over 200 knots, wildly exceeding standard landing speeds. Race for impact. The main landing gear slams violently onto the concrete. The aircraft bounces hard into the air before slamming down again. Piché immediately stands on the maximum anti-skid brakes, fighting to stop the speeding giant. The tremendous friction from the excessive speed causes the landing gear tires to explode and catch fire. Sparks fly as the wheels grind down to the rims. The aircraft shudders violently, but it is finally slowing down. The plane comes to a halting, smoking stop in the middle of the runway. Emergency slides are deployed immediately. The crew flawlessly executes the evacuation order, and within 90 seconds, all 2093 souls are safely out. The investigation revealed a mismatched replacement part caused the fatal fuel line fracture. The crew's error in opening the crossfeed valve worsened the leak, yet their unprecedented gliding skills ultimately saved everyone in a true aviation miracle.